I thought that's what my fault.
That's
You have
fine.
another one,
That's
Matt?
fine. The other's all ready to go. I'll just change the date.
Okay, so my agenda back, or you want to memorize those
You
three
ready?
lines?
Hold on.
Yep.
Call this meeting to order. We're tonight to discuss the solar law. Warren, you want to take over from this point?
Sure. So in accordance with our discussions at the last meeting, I have prepared for the board's consideration to schedule for a public hearing. A local law entitled a local law enacting an 8-month moratorium on the processing and approval of all new applications for tier 3 solar facilities. The reason I put it at 8 months is because we're going to have to, in the interim, figure out what the process is going to be for looking at amendments, for reviewing amendments in the law, whether we want to do it through a committee or retain the services of our planner or another planner. So we can discuss that at the next meeting. That I thought 8 months was more appropriate than a 6 months, so we don't have to extend it. So if you want, I'll try to read it if my voice holds out. The local law states as follows. The town of Pine Plains, on or about October 20th, 2022, adopted local law number 3 of the year entitled a local law amending portions of chapter 275 of the town code with regard to regulation of solar installations, which was codified as an amendment to chapter 275 of the town code. Chapter 275 of the town code, as amended by local law number 3 of the year 2022, provided for a 3-tier approval process for solar photovoltaic PV installations. Tier 1 for approval of accessory roof-mounted solar installations, Tier 2 for accessory ground-mounted solar PV installations, and Tier 3 for large-scale solar installations. Tier 3 solar facilities are subject to special permit and site plan approval by the planning board in accordance with the I just lost my place. In accordance with the applicable provisions of the town code. The town has to date received 1 application for a Tier 3 facility, which is currently being reviewed pursuant to chapter 275 of the town code in accordance with the amendments to the code enacted by local law number 3 of the year 2022. The town board is concerned that evolving technology and the requirements for locating Tier 3 solar facilities within the town indicates that additional applications for such Tier 3 facilities may be filed in the future. The town board is concerned about the potential for a proliferation of such Tier 3 applications and the impact that such future increased demand may have upon the town. Town board wants to ensure that the current provisions of chapter 275 of the town code and other applicable sections of the town land use regulations have suitable standards with reference to siting and approval of such Tier 3 applications, which will protect the town's prominently rural agricultural and forest land with regard to the siting of such Tier 3 facilities. In the event that such additional applications are filed. As a result, the town board has determined that it would be in the best interest of the town and citizens to place a moratorium on future applications for Tier 3 solar facilities until such time as the town board can review its current zoning code and other land use regulations and, if necessary, consider appropriate modifications or changes to its current law with regard to the siting and approval of Tier 3 solar facility. It is anticipated that this process will take approximately 8 months. This local law moratorium law is designed to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the town of Pine Plains and its residents, and to maintain the status quo to give the town sufficient time to study and, if appropriate, make required amendments to town code. There's a typo, it should be code, it says town cods. I don't think we have any cods in the town. And you have it in Word, you can change it.
Yeah.
And the town's other land use regulations for such facilities. Section 2 is the moratorium. A moratorium is hereby imposed from the effective date of this local law for a period of 8 months on the processing and or approval of all applications for erection, construction, reconstruction, expansion, changing, repairing, or structurally altering any Tier 3 solar facilities within the town. B, the code enforcement officer, building inspector, and planning board shall not accept or consider any new application for site plan approval or special permit approval for tier 3 solar facilities within the scope of this moratorium for the term of this moratorium. C, no building permit shall be issued pursuant to the Town of Pine Plains zoning code for the construction of any tier 2 solar facilities or any other commercial solar facility within the scope of this moratorium for the term of this moratorium. Section 3 are exemptions. A, this moratorium shall not apply to any applications for a tier 3 solar facility filed prior to the date of this local law for which a complete application has been made to the Town of Pine Plains Planning Board for approval of said facility in accordance with the provisions of section 275 of the Town Code, which is currently pending before the Town Pine Plains Planning Board as of June 27, 2023, and for which review of said application pursuant to the provisions of the State Environmental Quality Review Act has been commenced by the lead agency. B, this local law shall not apply to any pending or future applications during the term of this moratorium for tier 1 or tier 2 solar facilities pursuant to the provisions of chapter 275 of the code. Section 4 is just a statement of authority. Section 5 is a hardship waiver provision. It's become commonplace for all moratorium laws now, and the state wants to see this, and reviewing courts want to see a hardship waiver, but I can't imagine that there would be any application that would apply for a hardship waiver or would be approved, but we have that provision in there. We have penalties for the violation, and the penalties are the same as for any zoning code violations. And then we have a severability clause and an effective date. The effective date will be after the filing. I'm not going to read the resolution. The resolution basically states same things that are in the local law, except that we have scheduled a public hearing for July 20th, 2023 at 7:10 p.m. At the Town of Pine Plains Town Hall with the address. Town clerk is directed to post notice of this local law and this resolution on the Town of Pine Plains official signboard and on its website, and to make a copy of the local law available to the public at the office of the town clerk during regular business hours, and to publish notice of said public hearing in the town's official paper at least 10 days prior. Really only requires 5, but I'd like to have it 10 days. That's okay. And further resolve that the town clerk is directed to send a copy of this resolution and the proposed law to the Town of Pine Plains Planning Board. I don't know whether we'll have time to get a review by them, but we should send it to them.
Okay.
For review and comment in accordance with the provisions of the town code, and to Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development for review pursuant to the provisions of General Municipal Law 239M. I'm not sure that it's required to do that, but we should just send it. They'll probably say they don't have to review it.
Okay.
We should send it.
All right.
And the town clerk is directed to publish notice of that public hearing in the town's official newspaper no later than 10 days, no less than 10 days prior to said public hearing. So with that in mind, if you have any questions. Okay, and I need a roll call vote on that.
Supervisor Walsh.
Yeah,
Councilwoman Jones. Councilman Vick.
I,
Councilman Ambrose.
Okay, so we're done with that. Do you have a few minutes to go into executive session to discuss litigation?
Sure.
Yep. We're not gonna make any decisions, correct?
No.
All right. Can I get a motion to go into
I
executive
move
session?
that we go to executive session to discuss
All in favor?
legal matters.
You wanna take us out? Agnes?
I move that we could return from executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move we adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
but you were going to do it twice. I like that inside.